has its own share of boring and adventurous days. And let me tell you about the most difficult landing of my life. As you see me in flesh and blood, so it means we landed. It was a flight from Kolkata to Surat. Gujarat was under a cyclone warning that day. Surat's runway number 22, was shorter than usual to repair work. And it was 3 p.m. in extreme summers when the winds were at its peak. As we began our descent, turbulence started early. An aircraft wasn't just being shaken, it was being thrown. The winds kept changing its direction, and the air traffic controller reported a wind speed of 45 km per hour, gusting winds within limits but right at the edge. The world inside the cockpit was no less turbulent than outside. The engine sound was rising and falling like a siren. Airspeed was fluctuating constantly, and from the cabin itself, I could hear passengers screaming. My hands were on throttle all the time, ready for a go round at any moment. Whenever it is not feasible to land, we do a go round. Go round is a maneuver we ascend or climb, either to come back to the same airport or to go to our alternate airport. We weren't just being shaken hard physically, but mentally and emotionally also. It was the final phase of my landing. It was extremely turbulent. Continue or go round. Those were the only two options. And these two options were continuously shuffling in my head. My eyes were glued to the airspeed. All the airports in Gujarat was under a cyclone warning that day, including a diversion airport or alternate airport Ahmedabad. And I was thinking, what if I go around and come back to Surat? And I was like, if I come back again, I will face the same turbulence. And that would be my last attempt there. After that, we have to divert. Because in bad weather, we get only 2 attempts to land. After that, we have to divert. And what if Ahmedabad is just as bad? And the report said it was. So the choices were harsh: Surat or Ahmedabad. Full throttle for a go around or continue handling the aircraft. I trusted my abilities and continued handling the aircraft. And then the wheels touched the ground. It was a perfect landing. Right at the center line, right in the touchdown zone. And passengers gave a sigh of relief, and so did I. And when I stepped out of the cockpit, cabin crew clapped, and some passengers took photographs with me. They thanked me, and everyone said the same thing. Only a great pilot could have done this. Including cabin crew and passengers, I too was majorly proud of myself. A one-man show. At least it looked like that from outside. And I realized this years later in a simulator. When I was training a young pilot, he handled a critical situation so beautifully. Everyone praised him. And I thought he thinks that it was just him. And suddenly I saw myself in that Surat's cockpit again. And and then it just hit me. It wasn't me either. Now here's the part most people don't see. That landing did not begin in the sky. It started years earlier where no one applauds. We treat success as a moment, a medal, a promotion, or a perfect landing. Success is not a moment, it's a fabric, and a single thread cannot hold weight. That day in Surat, I was not flying alone. There were voices of my instructors, especially Captain Kapai, who used to tell me they will trust your training, trust the process. Aircraft will behave the way you command it and stay calm during critical situations. And those voices were continuously in my head during that final phase of my landing. Behind me were years of my training in aircraft and simulators, practicing difficult landings, wind shears, go around until fear hand, until handling fear became my muscle memory. Beside me were many systems which were being checked by engineers. There were hundreds of invisible contributors' hands making sure nothing fails. Beside me was my co-pilot. I had briefed him everything about the approach, turbulence, and the exact moment where we will do a go round if the limits were being crossed. He wasn't assisting me, he was protecting my blind spots. Can I? Then there were cabin crews in the cabin. They did the service early. They secured the cabin and prepared the passengers, making sure that there is no panic in the cabin. And then there was the air traffic controller on the ground giving us continuous winds update, clearing traffic in the sky, holding spaces in the sky. They were actually flying the ground so I could fly the aeroplane. There were so many people who were not there in Surat that day. My trainers who have trained my trainers. the staff who printed weather reports, the people who have designed the systems, and the chaiwala who kept the night shift awake. And yes, my wife Radhika, who kept her life on hold so I could live my dream. Waking up early morning, midnights to make sure that I'm well fed, well rested, and stress free. Taking full responsibility of my home and kids so that I could fly the aeroplane. From the outside, it looked like my landing, but in reality, it was a proven reality. For many years, I believed something very dangerous. I believed I handled it. I didn't see the fabric, I just saw my thread. Now, you see, we don't see the threads, we reward outcomes, we simplify stories, and honestly, our ego doesn't allow because we don't acknowledge the process. After all, self made sounds better, right? Better than acknowledging invisible hundreds of contributors. But when you see the fabric, something will shift. Success will, will not seem to be a trophy. It will become a responsibility. A responsibility to acknowledge hundreds of invisible contributors. A responsibility to share stronger thread with others. A responsibility to stop pulling credit towards yourself. So, next time, when you see something as your success, ask yourself, what threads made this possible? The real success is not standing alone in the spotlight. Every great performance is actually a group photograph cropped into a solo portrait. Thank you.